Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. Welcome back to Server IT Solutions. So, this is the technical video series video number 5. So, in this particular video, we will learn Active Directory Infrastructure Setup Part 2 through Windows 2022 Server. What all steps we will be covering in this particular video: creating Windows 2022 Server virtual machine through Hyper-V, then installing and configuring DNS Server role on Windows Server 2022, then installing ADDS Active Directory Domain Services on Windows 2022 DC system, then promoting WIN2022 DC system as a domain controller, then installing and configuring DHCP role on Windows 2022 DC system, then creating an Active Directory admin account through Active Directory users and computers, and creating 2 Windows client virtual machines, Windows 10 and Windows 11 through Hyper-V, and then joining 2 client systems to newly created domain controller, and last, verifying the client connectivity with the domain controllers. Now, all above steps we will be executing through PowerShell. Now, if you remember the part 1 which I have just released a day before, all the above steps we have executed using our normal GUI mode or through a normal Windows wizard mode, but for this particular video I will be showing you how to execute all above steps using PowerShell, or it can be an automated installation. Okay, so let's start. Now, what are the prerequisites for this particular video? So, Windows 2022 Server, Windows 10 and Windows 11 operating systems ISOs, a physical system which can be used for the Hyper-V host with at least 64 GB RAM, and what will be our lab setup? So it will be the same lab setup what we have used in the previous video as well. So first will be your physical machine, WIN2022 base, which is running on Windows 2022 Data Center Server operating system. Role will be Hyper-V host. It will be a physical machine. Hardware configuration will be a standard one like 1 TB hard disk, latest i7 CPU with VTX technology, 128 GB RAM. Local IP will be 10.1.1.1, and the system model will be a physical server or a workstation. Now, next 3 machines are virtual machines. First virtual machine will be Windows 2022 DC, which will be acting as an Active Directory domain controller, and it will be having 100 GB VHDX, 1 virtual CPU and 24 GB RAM. Its IP will be 10.1.1.100, and its system model will be virtual machine. And next 2 machines will be your Active Directory client systems. One will be running on Windows 10 operating system and second one will be on Windows 11. Both will be acting as an Active Directory client machines. Both will have an identical hardware configuration like 100 GB VHDX, virtual CPU, 16 GB RAM, and the IP they are getting from the DHCP server, which we will be configuring on WIN2022 DC system. And of course, those 2 machines also be a virtual machines. So this is a normal lab setup. Now, if you remember in the previous video we have used the same lab setup. We are executing the same steps also in this video, but the only difference is, as I said earlier, all the steps will be executed through PowerShell. Okay, so before starting the actual practical, this is just an Active Directory infrastructure logical diagram. So as our physical machine, Windows 2022 base, it will be acting as a Hyper-V host. It will be having a local IP 10.1.1.1. Then there will be 3 virtual machines. One virtual machine will be our domain controller WIN2022 DC Active Directory domain controller. It will be also our DNS server and DHCP server. Its IP will be 10.1.1.100. And other 2 machines are your AD clients, Active Directory clients, WIN10 CL and WIN11 CL. They are running on Windows 10 and Windows 11 operating systems respectively, and they will be getting the IPs from the DHCP server, which will be hosted on this server only, WIN2022 DC. Now for the connectivity part, the red line indicates that it's a Hyper-V connectivity. That means your hypervisor connectivity. So this machine WIN2022 base will be Hyper-V host through which we will be creating these 3 virtual machines. So all will be having the Hyper-V connectivity, and through this Active Directory domain controller, other 2 client machines will be having Active Directory connectivity. A brown kind of an connectivity line I have just showed. Okay, so I hope this logical diagram is clear to you. Now let's start with our practical steps. So the step number 1, I have already created all the PowerShell scripts, so we just need to execute it. But before executing it, I will be explaining that particular PowerShell script in detail with you guys. So don't worry about it. You can pause the video, you can see the script carefully, what are the options we have defined in that PowerShell script, and how will be our output once we are executing that PowerShell script. What will be our output? So step number 1, we need to execute the PowerShell script number 1 from Windows 2022 base system for following output. What will be our output? So AD infra VMs staging folder structure creation as below. So what does it mean? It will create this particular folder structure. First it will create in a J drive, my external partition is J drive, it will create a folder called AD infra. Then inside AD infra it will create one subfolder called WIN2022 DC. Next, again inside AD infra it will create one more subfolder WIN10 CL, and last it will create inside AD infra it will create Windows 11 CL, the third folder. So this will be the complete folder structure for storing our VMs, and all these folders will be created automatically by our PowerShell script. So let's go back to our main machine. And now I will start the Windows PowerShell ISC as an administrator mode. Remember, this is my physical machine, Windows 2022 base. Now before we will start our practical PowerShell execution, let me just clear one point from you. Which PowerShell script needs to be run from which machine I have specified in the step. So the PowerShell script number 1 should be run from Windows 2022 base system. Okay, so this is my base system. So I have opened the PowerShell ISC console on this base system. Okay, and now I am opening the script folder from here. So this is my script folder, and this will be our number 1 PowerShell script. I have numbered them also for our convenience. So the first PowerShell script is AD infra VM folder setup. So this is what the same folder structure or same PowerShell script what I have just described. So I will go back here and I will open this particular script. Okay, before executing it, let me just explain you in brief. So it's simple commands, that new item, and then you need to specify the path which particular partition and which folder you need to create. Okay, and then item type will be directory. This is a PowerShell command for creating a folder. Although we are creating a folder, but it's called a directory in a PowerShell module or a command module. Okay, so we will be creating the JAD infra as a directory. Then again JAD infra Windows 2022 DC, second directory, second subfolder, third subfolder inside AD infra only Windows 10 CL, and fourth AD infra Windows 11 CL. So all four folders we will be creating through PowerShell. Okay. So let me execute this particular first PowerShell script now, and you can see I've just made these lines through right host that what this particular script is doing. Although this is optional, but for us to understand it better, I have just made those comments. So first creating the staging folder, and then it has created these folders according to the commands what we have specified over here, and then it has given the last confirmation message that we have successfully created. Now let's verify whether these folders have actually been created or not. So I will go to the Windows Explorer J drive, and you can see the AD infra folder has been created. Inside that these three subfolders have been created, although those ones are empty as of now, but it will get filled up once we are creating our virtual machines through PowerShell. Okay, so our first PowerShell script has been completed successfully. So let me close this one, and let's go back to our second step. Now step number 2 is we need to execute the PowerShell script number 2 from Windows 2022 base system for following output. What will be our output? We will be creating a virtual machine called WIN2022 DC, and it will be running as in Gen 2, that is generation 2, through Hyper-V. Then our VM path will be JAD infra and Windows 2022 DC folder. Then VM virtual hard disk path or virtual hard disk size will be 100 GB. Virtual memory will be 24 GB, and it will map our ISO, Windows 2022 Data Center Server ISO, on our virtual machine. And finally it will boot from that particular ISO, and it will start the OS installation also. So everything will be automated. You can see how many steps have been covered within a single PowerShell script. Now this is the advantage of a PowerShell script. You can include 5, 10, 15 manual steps into one PowerShell script. That will save your time also. That will be an automated procedure for all those manual steps. Okay, so the PowerShell script number 2 is what we are now executing. It will create our virtual machine, then it will give the VM path as specified in the JAD infra and Windows 2022 DC. Virtual hard disk will be 100 GB, virtual memory will be 24 GB, OS ISO will be automatically mapped according to the path, and it will start booting from that OS ISO, and it will start the OS installation also. Okay, so let me go back to, and from which machine we need to run this particular script. Since we are creating a virtual machine, we need to run it from Hyper-V host, that is our physical machine, WIN2022 base machine. So let me go back to the main screen again. So this is my Windows 2022 base machines PowerShell ISE. I will close this first script. I will clear the screen just for our better understanding, and now I will open my second script. So I have already named those scripts according to their functions. So the second script is WIN2022 DC VM creation. Okay, now I have told you what this script will be doing, but let me explain this particular script for you guys. So I have specified some variables over here. My VM name will be WIN2022 DC. My path will be J drive AD infra and then Win2022 DC. My VSD path will be like JAD infra, Windows 2022 DC, and then virtual hard disk. One more Win2022 DC subfolder and virtual hard disk. My switch, my Hyper-V switch will be internal, and my install media, that is my ISO, will be of this path. Okay, so I have specified the complete path up to the .iso extension. Okay, now these are the variables what I have specified before executing the script. Then I have specified my comment that okay, creating a new virtual machine named as Win2022 DC on Win2022 base Hyper-V host. Then create a new virtual machine. I have specified the actual command. So new VM, the name will be variable VM name. So VM name is what? You can see over here, you can connect yourself with the variables. VM name will be our DC. Memory startup bytes I have specified as 24 GB. Generation 2. New VSD path will be VSD path. VSD path is what? VSD path. This one. And the name will be vmname.vsdx. That means Win2022dc.vsdx. Okay. Then the VSD size will be 100 GB. Again, path for storing that particular VSD size is already defined as path. Okay, this path, and then switch name will be switch name. The switch name we have already defined as internal. Okay, so this particular command line is actually creating your virtual machine. Now next command line is, once this VM is created, we need to add one more virtual machine DVD drive on that VM through SCSI controller. So next command will be adding a virtual machine DVD drive. So VM DVD drive over here. So these are the commands what I have specified in the blue color. Okay, so you can refer to this. It may be entirely possible that at one glance you will be not able to understand this particular script as a whole. Don't worry about it. You can pause this video, just see the screen carefully, try to understand, so you will get understanding. If you are already familiar with the PowerShell scripts, so you will understand on a more faster way. If you are not, you can learn by your own pace. Now once our virtual machine DVD drive has been added to our VM, we need to map our ISO. So mount installation media. So DVD drive is equal to get VM drive VM name, and then we will map our ISO through our install media. Right? You can see over here I have given the path as install media. So install media is what? This is our ISO path. So first it will create a virtual disk as a virtual DVD drive. It will add to our VM, and then it will map our ISO also through our install media variable. Okay. Mount the installation media. It will get that particular VM drive. It will mount that media, and then last is it will set our first boot device as our DVD drive, because we need to boot from our operating system, right? And the last command will be, it will start our VM. So which VM? The VM name, whatever this thing. So VM name is DC. So now in a single script I am executing these many steps whatever I have explained. Okay, I will be creating a virtual machine with the generation 2 called Win2022 DC. The VM path will be this, virtual hard disk path will be this, memory will be 24 GB, ISO mapping will be our data center server ISO, and it will boot from that particular ISO, and it will start the OS installation also. Okay, now let me execute this particular script, and we need to be a bit fast because it will directly start our VM within a second, and we need to press enter in order to boot from our DVD. But don't worry, even if we are missing that one, we will try to cover it. I'm just opening this Hyper-V Manager console in advance. Now let me just execute this particular script. You can see creating new virtual machine. It has created virtual hard disk, and it has started also. Let me go back to my this thing, and you can see over here our WIN2022 DC OS via virtual machine has created also, and it has booted also from DVD. But since we have not entered the key in time, so it has gone to the PXE and it has stopped there. But no problem, we will say Ctrl Alt Del, so it will again reset, and now I will press enter. So now it is booting from our OS ISO, and within the virtual machine, before starting the operating system, within the virtual machine, let's verify the settings. Whatever we have given, it is correctly executed or not through our VM setting. So first boot device is DVD drive, this is correct. Our hard disk path, this is also correct. Our DVD drive ISO, this is also correct. So everything whatever we have specified in the PowerShell script, it has executed in a correct manner. Okay, I will say okay, and now I will start my OS installation as usual. Okay, I will say install now. So this is the manual steps what we have to do through virtual machine, because inside the virtual machine there is no operating system as of now, so we cannot run the PowerShell, but this will be a manual operating system installation as usual. So I will just say next. Now it has started the operating system installation. I am pausing this video as of now. Once this OS installation gets completed, I will come back to you with the further steps, with the further PowerShell scripts. So our operating system installation has completed, and it is asking me for admin password. I'm just putting it. Just saving the display settings. Now just logging with the local admin account. Okay. Now let's move on to the next step. By the time this particular OS is getting started, we'll just disable the startup options. So we have just completed the step number 2, or the script number 2. Step number 3 we have just completed. Once the Windows 2022 DC VM's OS installation completes, log on with the administrator account. That we have just completed. Step number 4, we need to execute the PowerShell script number 3 from WIN2022 DC system for disabling the Windows firewall. Okay, so I will open the file location. So these are the scripts what we have already done. So the third script I need to copy. I will go back to my DC system. Here I will create a small local folder called PS. I'll paste it over here. Okay, because we need to run this script from Windows 2022 DC system, right? So I have just copied it locally on Windows 2022 DC system, and now I will open the PowerShell ISC script from here. I will say run as administrator and open the script. This is the first time you need to go to that path. Next time it will automatically take. So this is the third script. So it's a simple script disabling the Windows firewall on Windows 2022 DC system. Now what is the command? Set -net firewall profile, then profile will be your public, private and domain, then enable will be false. It's a simple script. So what I will do is, first open the control panel and go to the Windows Defender firewall. It is currently on. So I will close this and now I will execute this script. You can see disabling the Windows firewall on Win 2022 DC system. And now I will verify, and you can see the Windows firewall is disabled. Although there are only two profiles, domain profile, it will get added once this machine is promoted to domain controller, and again we will disable that profile also. Okay, so as of now Windows firewall is disabled. Let's move on to the next script. So next is execute PowerShell script number 4 from Win 2022 DC system only for setting up systems appropriate time zone. Okay, so as you can see, the time zone of this particular system, the virtual machine system, is showing as US time zone, so we don't require that one. So what I will do is, I will go back to my script folder and I will copy this particular script, time zone, all VMs, because this script will be used for all VMs. So I am copying this script and close this one, open this, paste it directly from here, double click on it. So it's a simple script, India Standard Time. You can set the time zone. So I will just execute it and you can see it has set our time zone to Indian Standard Time. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Now next step is, we need to execute the next PowerShell script from Win 2022 DC only system for assigning a local IP address as shown in the sideline figure. So the IP address what we are setting up over here is, script output will be 10.1.100, the IP address, subnet mask 255.0.0.0, then DNS will be 10.1.100. This will be our IP configuration. Sorry. So let's go back. I'm copying this particular script number 5 and let's go back here and I will copy this IP address. Okay, Win 2022 DC IP. I will click on it. So it's a simple script for assigning the IP address to our machine. Okay, so what it is showing, it is showing the variables where it is getting, first of all it is getting the WMI object. So get WMI object like network adapter, and then IP enable is equal to true. That means it should enable our IP4 version of IP component, and then it will give a static IP like 10.1.100, and then our subnet mask as 255.0.0.0. Then it will set the gateway also 10.1.100, and it will set the DNS folder also as 10.1.100. Okay, so this is the first part of this particular script. The next part is it is disabling the IP6 version 6 option or component from the same network adapter, because we don't require IP6. Okay, so first of all I will go to the network properties before executing this change adapter, and if I am going to the properties of it, you can see over here IP6 is already enabled, and then in the IP nothing is there as of now. It is as like DHCP enabled IP configuration. So I will cancel this, minimize this, and now I will execute this particular script. So assigning IP4 on Ethernet interface, and now IP4 successfully assigned. Let's see what it has done exactly. So I will go back to the Ethernet properties one more time. You can see the first change is IP6 has been disabled, and I will go to the IP4. You can see it has assigned the IP 10.1.100, subnet mask 255.0.0, and the preferred DNS is 10.1.100. So it has given the required IP address to our Ethernet adapter using this particular PowerShell script. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is execute the PowerShell script number 6 from DC system for changing the WIN2022 DC VM's hostname to WIN2022 DC. Now we need to change our hostname also, right? So let's go back to our script folder, and I will copy this number 6. Okay, WIN2022 DC hostname. Okay, and I will go back to my DC system. You can see all these scripts are for small steps. It is taking just 1 minute or so. Otherwise manually it will take much more time. We have already done all these steps manually in the previous video, so you can compare the timing over there. So on DC host name, on this particular script, it will rename our computer as new name as WIN2022 DC, right? So as of now, let me, before executing this one, let me clear the screen. As of now, there will be a random computer name. Let's confirm what computer name it is currently showing. I will go to the advanced system settings. I will go to the computer name. You can see it is a random computer name what it is showing, but we need to rename it. Okay, so I will say cancel, close this. I will execute this script and renaming the system hostname to DC. The change will take effect. The change will take effect after you restart the computer. So it is asking for restart. I will say yes to all. So our DC system is just getting restarted. I'm logging with the local admin. And now let's verify whether it has changed our hostname or not. And you can see the hostname has been changed. Okay, so our script executed successfully. Let's move on to the next step. So note over here is once WIN2022 DC system restarts, make sure that this system is still having the virtual DVD-ROM and 2022 data center ISO map to it. Why? Because we need to install our .NET framework over here. So we will just verify it before we are going to the next step. So it is mapped, already mapped, the ISO is already mapped. So let's move on to the next step. So next step is execute PowerShell script number 7 from WIN2022 DC system to install .NET 3.5 and ASP.NET 4.8 features on WIN2022 DC system. Okay, so I will copy this particular script number 7, copy, I go back to my DC system and will open our PowerShell IIC console with admin access. And I will paste it on my script folder. And now this particular script, what it is doing is, it is installing the .NET Framework 3.5 and ASP.NET 4.8. Before executing, we will see what is the current state. So I will open the server manager. I will click on add roles and features. Next. This is just a manual verification I am just doing. And here on the features you can see .NET 3.5 is not installed and ASP.NET 4.8 is also not installed. So our script will install these two components. Okay, so I'm cancelling this, closing this, and now we will execute this particular script. It's a simple, again, command. Before installing, I will just explain. Install -Windows feature, then name, and then Net Framework Core, include management tools, and then resources SSX, and then Net Framework 4.45 ASP Net, include management tools. Now, how to get these names, I will just show you before executing this particular script. First of all, in a normal screen, I will just type get Windows feature. See over here, this is a normal command. Now forget about this script for 2 minutes. I will just explain you that how to create a new script or how you can build your own script. So get Windows feature. If I am entering this, it will show me all the features available for this particular server operating system. So you can see over here, so many features and roles are available. DNS role, DNS server, DHCP server, and all these things. So we need to install actually .NET 3.5 and ASP.NET 4.8, if you remember, right? So I will scroll down. Let's see whether I can see the .NET framework somewhere to see what it is exactly showing. Okay, so I'm scrolling down. And you can see over here ASP.NET 4.8 I can see, right? See here, this one. Not this one, sorry, this one. See here. And what name it is showing? Net Framework, Net-Framework -45-ASP.NET. So this is the second feature what we are installing. And what will be our first feature? .NET Framework 3.5 includes it. So, and the name for is Net Framework Core. Okay, so see over here, keep an eye on the name Net Framework Core, and I have specified the same Net Framework Core for 3.5, .NET Framework 3.5, and same thing for my ASP.NET 4.8. keep an eye over here, the same name I have mentioned over here, Net Framework 4. So, and before this particular name I have used the PowerShell command as install Windows feature. Simple, install -Windows feature. Then the next option for this command is specify the name, and then whatever the management tools including within this particular feature, it will also get installed. And the last option is, if you remember, on the manual way also we need to specify the alternate source path, our ISO path. D sources SSX, D is our operating system ISO, so that path also I have specified, otherwise the installation may fail. Okay, so I hope you got both the features installation commands now through PowerShell. Okay, so I will clear this now. If you want to, you can reverse this particular video, pause it and see the script very carefully, again listen to this explanation, and then you can understand what this script is all about. Okay, it's a simple script. Now I will execute. So now it is installing our features, the two features what we have specified over here. I think it has installed the first feature. Now it is installing the second feature. Now you can see both the features got successfully installed, and now it is asking for the restart confirmation on this system. So I will say yes to all. Okay, by the time it is restarting, let's move on to the next step. So as I said, the script output is .NET 3.5 and ASP.NET 4.8 features gets installed on Windows 2022 DC system. So let's log on to that system and let's verify whether it has all install both the features or not. So I will one more time go to the server manager, click on add roles, next, and you can see over here .NET 3.5 installed and ASP.NET 4.8 also installed. So our script has installed both the features successfully. I'll cancel this. The script output has been verified. Now next is we need to install the DNS server now. So execute PowerShell script number 8 from Win2022 DC system to install the DNS role, server role on Windows 2022 DC system. So I will go back and I will copy the 8 script, copy it, open the PowerShell ISE. What I will do, I will pin to taskbar only so that I don't have to type again and again. Right click and say run as administrator. Okay, and now I will open this folder directly and pasting the number 8 PowerShell script. So DNS installation, double clicking on it. Now before executing, I am just explaining this script. It's a simple script. Install Windows feature, same, then name is DNS, then include all the sub instance and include all these sub management tools or management tools. Okay, so as we have seen in the previous script also, I am getting this name from this particular command, get Windows features, right? If I am entering this, so it will show me all the available features and roles. So you can see over here DNS role, it is not cross-marked, it is not installed yet. So DNS role, and the name for that particular role to install through PowerShell is DNS. Same thing I have mentioned over here, right? Okay, so let me just clear this one and we will execute this script. It is not showing this particular line because this line is overlapping. That's fine. Now it has started the installation of DNS server role through our script. It will just take a minute or so. You can see DNS role has been successfully installed on WIN2022 DC system. Okay, and again I have specified the restart command over here, right? See over here, start sleep seconds 5 means it will hold for 5 seconds after the installation of our feature, and then it will ask for the restart computer confirm. If I am just saying restart computer, it will directly restart without asking you, but I have just specified the command as confirm so that it will ask us to manually click on yes to all, because in the production maybe your server is running certain services, so you don't require to install it directly, or you don't require to restart it directly, right? So here I am just confirming. Here you can say no to all and restart later on also, but as of now I am directly saying yes to all, so it will restart. So our DC system got restarted. I am logging with the local admin account. Let's move on to the next step. So we need to verify the script output also. So DNS role gets installed on WIN2022 DC system. So let's verify whether this DNS role has been installed or not. So I will open the server manager. From clicking on add roles and features, next. You can see over here DNS server role now got installed through our PowerShell script. Okay, so output is correctly showing. Cancel this, close this. Now let's move on to the next step. So next step is we need to execute the PowerShell script number 9 from WIN2022 DC system to configure the DNS server role on 2000 DC system. Okay, so I will go back to my script folder and I will copy this DNS configuration file, PowerShell script, and I will paste it on my PowerShell script. So let me close this. Let me just reopen it through admin console only, and then I will paste it over here. Okay, so DNS configuration. So what this particular script will do, we will first verify the output. The script output will be the DNS role gets configured with following results. So it will create a forward lookup zone first, and then it will configure that forward lookup zone also. Second is it will create the reverse lookup zone and it will configure it with our reverse octets, IP octets. Okay, so let's see. Let's come back to our script. So you can see we are creating the DNS forward lookup zone. Then these are the commands: add DNS primary zone, name will be this, zone file will be this. Then dynamic updates, just a minute. Dynamic updates is non-secure and secure. All those options I have already defined in this particular script. Then this is the first part, adding forward primary lookup zone, then adding reverse lookup zone. So creating a reverse lookup zone, what will be our network IDs or network octets that I have specified over here. Then zone file I have specified. Okay, after that it will give us a confirmation that the creation of DNS lookup zone has been created. Okay, and after that it will restart our system. So let's start this particular script. So now let's see. It has created our primary zone and it has created our reverse zone also. Okay. So both the primary zone and reverse lookup zone has been created. Now let's verify the output. How to verify this one? I will go to the server manager. I will go to tools, DNS, and now you can see over here on the forward lookup zone it has created one forward lookup zone, and on the reverse lookup zone it has created one reverse lookup zone also, right? So it has configured our DNS server. So this script has completed successfully. Let's move on to the next script now. So next script is, we need to execute the PowerShell script number 10 from WIN2022 DC system to install the ADDS role. Now this is our main script where we will be installing our Active Directory domain services role on WIN2022 DC system. Okay. So I will go back here and I will copy this script number 10 and I will close this one first, clear this one and paste it over here. Okay, so now don't get confused with all those lines and all. The main command over here is install Windows feature name AD domain services, include all substance and include management tools. This is the main line. All the other lines you can just customize according to your own requirement. That will be only the showing part over this script. I have just given this foreground colors as green, yellow, magenta just to make this PowerShell script looks more fancy, but the main command over here is this one, install Windows feature AD domain services. Okay, so now I will execute this particular script. So it is starting the ADDS role installation. It will take a minute or so. Now you can see over here installation of ADDS Active Directory Domain Controller role on Windows 2000 system completed successfully, and it is asking me for the restart. So I will say yes to all. I will log in with the administrator account. Now let's go back to our PPT and let's verify our script output. The ADDS Active Directory Domain Services role gets installed on Windows 2022 DC system. So we will verify it. I will come back to DC system, to server manager. I'll click on add roles and features. Next. You can see over here Active Directory Domain Services is installed now through our PowerShell script. Okay, so this output has been verified. I will cancel this. Now next step is execute PowerShell script number 11 from Windows 2022 DC system to promote the Windows 2000 DC system as a domain controller. Now manually, if you remember in the previous video, we have promoted this, we have created a new forest, we have created a new first root domain controller. That everything will be done through PowerShell single script. Now we will promote this particular machine. We have installed the Active Directory domain services role. Now we need to promote it. So next script is to promote this one. Okay, so I will first copy this particular script, promotion script. So I will come back here, and you can see over here it is asking us for promoting, so we are not doing it manually. Okay, let it be like this only. I will close this and I will open my PowerShell script wizard, close this, paste this 11th one, and this is the DC promotion. Okay, before executing, let me explain this script. So first it will run the prerequisite. So test ADDS forest installation site domain name SCCM local install DNS. It will first check the prerequisite that DNS is working fine or not, every other components have been installed or not. So this is the first part of this particular script. Next part is it will actually promote our this WIN2022 DC system to our ADDS domain controller. So what is the command? Install ADDS forest domain name SCCM.local and then install DNS. Okay, so these are the two main commands within this particular script. First it will check the prerequisite, and second it will install a new forest and a new root domain controller. Okay, so let's execute this one. So it will ask us for our directory services restore mode option password. So I will give it manually. And now you can see over here it is verifying the prerequisites for our domain controller operation. And now it is confirming whether you want to continue with this domain promotion operation or not. So I will click on yes to all. And now you can see the actual domain controller promotion started through our PowerShell script. Okay, now it will take 2 minutes or so, and it will automatically restart this particular machine after the domain controller promotion, because it's a system mandatory one. It will just show us normal closing window command and it will automatically restart our system. All tests completed successfully. Now installing the new forest. So these are the different steps what is it is executing in the background for Active Directory domain controllers services promotion. Now you can see you are about to sign out. I am not clicking anything, it will automatically restart. Our DC promo step or the domain controller promotion step has been completed. Now it has automatically restarted the machine. It is taking time to load the profile because this is the first time the machine has been rebooted as a domain controller. Now our system has been rebooted, and now we need to log in as a domain administrator account because this particular system has been promoted as a domain controller. So you can see over here the domain name is SCCM. So we are not able to log in with the local admin account anymore. So I will just put administrator and the password. Okay, so our domain controller promotion script has been completed successfully. We will verify the output one more time. What will be our script output? Our WIN2022 DC system gets promoted as a domain controller with following specifications. What are the specifications? So new forest and first root domain creation. Okay, we will verify it. How to verify this, that this particular machine has been promoted as a domain controller? There are various ways. First of all, we will verify our FQDN, our host name. You can see over here our FQDN, it is showing as a fully qualified domain name as in Windows 2022 DC, then sssmcb.local. This is the first confirmation. Second confirmation is, we will open the server manager, and if I am clicking on tools, you can see all the Active Directory related MMCs and management tools have been installed. Active Directory Domain and Trust, Active Directory Administrator Center, Active Directory Users and Computers, Sites and Services. Now all those MMCs are part of your domain controller. Okay, so this is the second confirmation. Fine. So let's go back to our PPT. So now this particular machine has been promoted as a domain controller. So root domain controller name will be sssmcb.local, that we have already verified. Okay. Our next step is, we need to disable our domain networks profile also in the Windows firewall. As I said earlier, we have already disabled our Windows firewall for two profiles, private and guest, but now we need to disable it for the domain network also, right? Because this is just newly built as a domain controller, so the Windows firewall profile will be automatically enabled over here, so we need to disable this. So let's go back. First we will verify, and this particular step we have already completed. We have login with the domain administrator. So next step is execute PowerShell script number 12 from Windows 2022 DC system for disabling the Windows Defender firewall, that is domain profile. Okay, so I will go back to my script folder and I will copy this, and I will go back to the DC system. Open my PowerShell script wizard, PowerShell ISE, and now I'll paste this one. Now we will execute this particular script, but before executing it, let's see the current status of our Windows firewall. So I will go to control panel. I will click on Windows Defender Firewall, and you can see over here the domain network profiles is enabled. The firewall profile is enabled, so we need to disable this. Okay, so I will close this, and now I will run my Windows Firewall script. Now it is disabling, and it has given that it has already successfully disabled this one. Okay, so let's verify one more time. Go back to control panel, Windows Defender Firewall, and now you can see all the three profiles have been disabled over here. Okay, so this particular script got successfully completed. Let's go back to our next step. So our next step will be, we need to execute the PowerShell script number 13 from Windows 2022 DC system to create and configure an AD user account with domain and forest admin rights. So we need to create one master account through Active Directory Users and Computers, and we need to give them that particular account a full access rights like enterprise admin, schema admin, domain admins, all those rights to that particular account, and we will be doing it through our PowerShell script. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerShell script folder, and I will copy this particular script number 13. Okay, the script number 13, and I will come back to my DC system, close this, and paste it. Okay, so this is number 13. Okay, let me just clear one and I will explain this script in a brief. So the main component or the main command over here is new AD user SCCM admin has been created successfully, right? And we have assigned the set AD password also. We have assigned the password also to this particular account, which is SCCM admin. Okay, so new AD user SCCM admin, then the password. I cannot show you the password by just expanding this word just for the security purpose, but after this convert to string as a plain text, I have specified my password also, right? So this particular script is creating SCCM admin, defining a password. After that, it is enabling our AD user. While creating this account manually, it will automatically get enabled, but while creating through your PowerShell, it has to be enabled through command. So set identity, set AD user identity enable is equal to true, and then this is enabled. Now next command is I'm setting the password expiry as no. That means password will never get expired. Okay, and the next step is I need to add this particular SCCM admin to certain groups. So what are the groups? Enterprise admin, then domain admin, and the last one is schema admins. So all three groups I am adding the SCCM admin account what we have created, and then finally we are restarting our system. Okay, so all those steps have been covered in a single script. So now I am executing this particular script. You can see over here creating new AD user account. So it has created the AD user account. Second, it has given the default password or whatever password I have defined in the script. Third, it has set the password expiry option as no, that means the permanent password. And fourth, it has added that SCCM admin account into certain administrative groups. Okay, schema admin, domain admin, and enterprise admin. Okay, and now lastly it is asking for the restart. So I am just restarting the machine. I will say yes to all. And now why we have restarted? Because we need to log on with our new account, that is SCCM admin account, not through the local admin account. Okay. Coming back to our main PPT. So script output, as I have already explained, a new AD user account gets created with domain and forest admin rights. Okay, we will verify this script output, but before that we need to log on with the SCCM admin. So the next step is log on to WIN2022 DC system with newly created SCCM admin AD account. Okay, AD user account. So I am going back to my DC system and I am logging with the SCCM admin. So now I have logged in with the SCCM admin account and we will verify that the new user account, since we have logged in, it has already been created. That's a common sense, but we will verify that that particular SCCM admin is a part of which groups. So I will go to tools, I will go to Active Directory users and computers. And now I will go to users. And under users I can see the SCCM admin. I will go to the properties and I will go to the member of tab. So you can see over here it is part of domain admin enterprise admin and schema admin, right? So our script has executed successfully. It has created this account also, it has added to these 3 groups also. Okay, I'll cancel this. Let's go back to our PPT for the next step. Now next step is we need to install the DHCP server role on Windows 2022 DC system. So we need to execute the PowerShell script number 14 from Windows 2022 DC system to install the DHCP server role, okay, on Windows 2022 DC system. So let's go back to our script folder and I will copy this and we'll go back to our DC system, close this. I will disable this startup also, since we have logged in with a different profile now, SSM admin profile. And now I will open PowerShell ISC. First I will pin it to taskbar. Run as an administrator. Then I will go to my PS folder and then I will paste this particular script over here directly. Okay, so number 14, DHCP server installation. Okay, if I am double clicking on it, you can see it's a simple script. Add Windows feature DHCP. The name will be DHCP. Include all sub features and include your management tools. So simple script. So it will install our DHCP server role on this machine. I will execute this particular script. It's installing our DHCP server role. And now you can see the DHCP server role has been installed successfully and it is asking us for the restart also. Okay, so I will click on yes to all. Now I am logging with the SSM admin account. Okay, so after the DHCP server role installation, we have just restarted our Windows 2022 DC system. Let's go back to our next step. So now the script output will be DHCP server role gets installed on Windows 2022 DC system. So we will verify this output first and then we will move to the next step. So I'm opening the server manager. Clicking on add rules and features. Next. You can see over here now it is showing the FQDN and the correct IP. Next, you can see over here the DHCP role has been installed. Okay, so our script has installed the DHCP server role. So output has been verified. You can see the DHCP role is installed, but the DHCP configuration is still in the pending mode. So complete DHCP configuration now. This all we will do through PowerShell only. Okay, so let it be like this. I will close this. Let's go back to our PPT for the next step. So next is execute the PowerShell script number 15 from DC to configure the DHCP server role on Windows 2000 DC system. Now we have installed this role, but we need to now configure it. So let's go back to our script folder. I'll copy the number 15 and I will open my PowerShell script wizard. Close this, and now I will paste it. Now what does that mean, the configuration? So the configuration is having 3-4 steps included into this particular script. First of all, it is completing the DHCP configuration, that is, it is committing the completion step of our DHCP. That is the first step. After that, it is actually restarting our DHCP server service. Okay, I will show you what it is exactly doing. On the first step, if I am opening server manager, you can see in that yellow triangle it is asking us to complete the DHCP configuration. If I am clicking this manually, it will ask me to complete this, but I am not clicking this. So for completing this DHCP configuration, the first part of our script will take care. Okay, so it will complete the DHCP configuration. That is the part number 1. Part number 2, it will create our DHCP scope. Okay, now you must be knowing, while configuring the DHCP, we need to create a scope from which address to which address the DHCP server will assign our IP address range, right? So here you can see over here, add DHCP server version 4 scope. End will be 10.11.24 and the start will be 10.1.1.1. So you can give this end range and start range as a first or second option. It will not make any difference to PowerShell, but you need to define those options. So my start range is 10.1.1.1, my end range is 10.1.1.254. So it will create a scope for these 254 IP addresses. Okay, next is subnet mask will be this as a default one, 255.000. This duration you can define as 8 days, 10 days, 20 days. By default, in a manual way, it is 8 days. I have defined 7 days, that's fine. And state will be active. My DHCP scope will be active. So this is the first line. Next is, I need to define that out of these 254 IP addresses, what all IP address I need to exclude. If you have seen my first part of this particular video, we have given the exclusion range also. So I have given the exclusion range as 10.1.1.1 to 10.1.1.150. So first 150 IP addresses we have excluded, so that our client will get the first IP address as 10.1.1.151, right? So this is the exclusion range also I have defined in this script. And then of course I am adding the DNS server for the DHCP configuration. We need to add the DNS also, that which DNS it will use. The client will use which DNS. So I have given the DNS name as our domain name ssmcv.local, and then after that I have added the DNS configurations, DNS servers IP also. Okay, and the DNS name also, right? So this is the second part we have installed. On the third part and the final part, we have authorized our DHCP server. So for authorizing DHCP server, I have just restarted my DHCP server service. Okay, so these are the 3 parts I have defined in a single script. First part, again I am explaining. First part, completing the DHCP configuration. Second part, defining the scope range and other options like lease, duration, and DNS server name. And the third part is your authorizing your DHCP server. Okay, so let's start our script. So now the first part is getting executed, completing DHCP configuration. Second part now adding the scope, DHCP scope. And third part is authorizing the DHCP server. Now all these 3 parts have been completed successfully. You can see there are no errors as such for this script. Okay, now We'll go back to our PPT for the next step. Now the script output, DHCP server role gets configured on WIN2022 DC system with following options. What are the options? 1. DHCP scope 10.1.1 to 10.1.1.254 gets created. Next is DHCP scope exclusion range we have defined as 10.1.1 to 10.1.1.150. And the third is lease duration is 7 days. Okay. So let's verify all these 3 steps whether it has actually done or not. Let's go back to our server. We will refresh this console, or you can see over after refreshing this completion, this DHCP configurations completion step is automatically vanished. That means it is completed. That is first confirmation. Then I will go to my DHCP and I will expand the server name. I will go to IP4 and you can see over here the scope has been created. If I am going to the properties of this scope, you can see 10.1.1.1 and 10.1.1.254. This is the total IP range what we have defined in the DHCP scope, and the lease duration we have defined as 7 days. Right? This is all through PowerShell script. Right? So this is the second confirmation I can get from this one. Okay. So we have given the address pool and everything, and this is our exclusion range 10.1.1 and 10.1.1.150. Okay. So everything has been configured correctly through our PowerShell script. I will close this. Let's move on to the next step. Now next step is execute PowerShell script number 16 and 17 from Windows 2022 base system for creating 2 new virtual machines as shown in sideline figure. So as you can see, we need to now create the 2 additional virtual machines, WIN10 CL and WIN11 CL. In the previous part we have created them manually. In this part we will create them through our PowerShell script. Okay. So let me come back to my main system. Now next 2 PowerShell scripts are for creating those virtual machines. So these scripts need to be run from our main machine only. So I will open my main machine's PowerShell ISE as an admin rights, and now I will first open the script number 16. So as we have already defined previously also, it is creating a new virtual machine called WIN10 CL. This will be our path. We have already created this particular folder if you remember, and then the virtual hard disk path, switch is internal, and the install media. Now this is important. On the first virtual machine, this WIN10 CL virtual machine, we are installing Windows 10 Enterprise 22H2 operating system. So I have given the path of that ISO. Okay. Now after that it will create that new virtual machine with this command, new name, new -VM, and the name will be our VM name. Then it will add our SCSI controller also, it will add a DVD drive also. After that it will map our ISO to that DVD drive, it will set it as the first boot device, and it will start the VM so that it will boot from our ISO and start the Windows 10 installation. Okay. It's the same script what we have executed in the previous part also for Windows 2022 DC VM creation. Okay. But it's a new VM. So I'm executing this script now. You can see it is creating a new virtual machine. I'm quickly going back to my Hyper-V console and I'm going. Now you can see this new virtual machine has been created, but we have not pressed the key for booting up from CD or DVD. That's why it has gone to PXE and it has stopped. I will reset this machine one more time, and now I am pressing enter. Now you can see it is booting from the Windows 10 operating system ISO. I will say next. I will say install now. I will accept. Next. Custom 100 GB VSD. I will say next. Now it is installing our Windows 10 first Win10 CL systems operating system. Now by the time it is installing our Windows 10, let's come back to our main system and we will start our PowerShell script for number 17 also, because we need to install two AD client systems, Windows 11 also, right? So I will close this 16. Now 17 is the same script. I will not explain it again. So in a brief, the VM name is Windows 11 CL. The path is J AD infra Windows 11 CL. VHD path is same, AD infra Windows 11 CL hard disk, Windows 11 hard disk. Switch internal, and my ISO will be Windows 11 because we need to install the Windows 11 operating system on this particular Windows 11 CL system. Okay, so I will start this particular script. And now you can see the Windows 11 system has been started. We will go back to our Hyper-V console. You can see this has been created, but we have again missed it for entering our booting sequence. I will reset it, and now I will press enter, and now it is booting from my Windows 11 system OS ISO. Okay, Windows 11 OS ISO. So now I will say next. Install now. I don't have a product key. Accept. Custom. It's a straightforward installation, and I will now complete both the operating systems installation. By the time both the operating systems OS installation gets completed, then I will create a local user to log on, and I will come back to you with both the systems are ready for the domain joining with their desktop screen. Okay, so as of now I am pausing this video at this point. Once both the systems are ready with their basic operating system setup, then we will move on to the next step or next script. So as you can see now, our Windows 11 operating system is about to finish. So our Windows 11 operating system is ready. I have just created a normal local user just to log on for the first time. So I am just entering the password over here. So while you are installing a fresh operating system, you will be requiring at least one user account. By default, the administrator account, you cannot use it for the first time. So I have just used the local user account. And same thing I have done for my Windows 10 system also. So I will log in on Windows 10 system also. Okay. So our both systems are ready with the fresh OS installation now. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So we have executed script number 16 and 17, and the script's output will be that two new virtual machines gets created through Windows 2022 base Hyper-V host as below, with the configuration shown in the sideline figure. So that we have already completed. We have created both the virtual machines through PowerShell. Okay, Win10 CL and Windows 11 CL. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Now next step is, once both the Windows 10 CL and Windows 11 CL VMs OS installation finishes, complete the post installation task and log on with the local admin user. This has also been completed. I have created a local user account and we have logged on with that local admin account on both the systems. Let's move on to the next step. Now next step is, On Windows 10 and Windows 11 systems, open Windows PowerShell ISC with admin rights and run the following command. Now, this is one additional command we need to run, because by default on a desktop operating system your PowerShell scripts running are disabled. So we need to enable that functionality first so that we can run certain PowerShell scripts further. Okay, so what is that command? Set execution policy -execution policy is equal to unrestricted. So now we need to run this particular command on our Windows PowerShell IC on both the system, Windows 10 and Windows 11. So let's do that. First I will go to Windows 10 CL system, and from here I will open PowerShell ISC. You can open PowerShell also, but I am more comfortable with PowerShell ISC console. I will say run as administrator. And now I will just put this command, set execution policy. It will auto complete, you can see. Then -execution policy again, and then unrestricted. Okay, so this will allow to run the scripts on this particular Windows 10 CL system. I will press enter. It will ask for the confirmation. I will say yes to all. That's it. Okay, now the same command we need to run on Windows 11 CL also. So I will go back to my Windows 11 also. And now first I will open my PowerShell ISC. I will run as an administrator. And now I will execute that particular command from here on. So set execution policy -execution policy is equal to unrestricted. If you remember, this particular command we don't require to run on server operating system, because running the scripts are enabled by default in server operating system, but on desktop operating system it is not enabled. So if I am running directly a new script over here, it will give me error that running the scripts on this machine is disabled. So before that we need to run this command. This is a one-time command. Next time onwards you can run any script. So I will press enter over here and yes to all. Okay, so on both Windows 10 CL and Windows 11 CL systems we have enabled our script execution. Okay, now let's go back to our PPT for the next step. Now next step is we need to execute the PowerShell script number 4 from Windows 10 CL and Windows 11 CL systems for changing its time zone. Now as I said, the script number 4 is for all VMs for changing its time zone. So we will copy that script number 4 on both the systems, Windows 10 CL and Windows 11 CL, and we will execute from there. Okay, so I will go back to my script folder and I will copy this all VMs script. I will go back to Windows 10 CL system first. Now here on a C drive, first I will create a normal folder for storing our scripts. Now you can see over here it is showing the US time zone. So I will paste this script first and then I will run from here. Now it has set the time to your Indian Standard Time. Okay, this is completed. The same thing we need to repeat on Windows 11 CL also. So I will go back to Windows 11 CL machine. I will open from here only and then go to C drive create a folder. This is my way to store these scripts locally. You can store it on anywhere you want. Then this script for streaming, it is already showing, but let's see. Now it is showing. Okay, so now we have set the time zone as IST on both the machines. Okay, let's move on to the next step now. Now next step is execute PowerShell script number 18 from Windows 10 CL system to disable the Windows Defender firewall. So I will copy this and I will go back to my Windows 10 CL system, close this, clear this, copy this thing. Now this script will disable our Windows firewall on WIN10 CL system. Just before executing, let's see what is the current status of our Windows firewall. Okay, it is on. So I will execute this. Now you can see Windows firewall is disabled. Re-verify it. Why I am disabling this Windows firewall? Because it might give you error that unable to join the domain, or it is not allowing us to connect to our domain controller. Okay, by default. So I am disabling it. Okay, now let's move on to the next step. So next step is same. Execute PowerShell script number 19 from Windows 11 CL system to disable the Windows firewall. Okay, so we have disabled from Windows 10. Now we need to disable from Windows 11 also. Okay, I will say copy Windows 11, clear this first, close this, and now script number 19. Now just before executing it, let's see the Windows firewall status. It is currently on. I will close this, execute this. Now firewall is disabled. Let's reconfirm. It is disabled now. Okay, so on both the systems we have disabled the Windows firewall. Let's go back to our PPT for the next step. Now next step is we need to verify that our client systems have been taken the correct IP from our DHCP server. If you remember, we have installed the DHCP server on our Windows 2022 server. That is also our domain controller, and that is also our DNS server also. So we need to see the correct IP configuration for our Windows 10 CL system first. So I will go to my Windows 10 CL system, and from here I can run ipconfig from here also, right? So you can see over here it is showing the IP range what we have defined for the DHCP 10.11.151. So this is the correct IP, right? So this confirmation goes on correct mode. Now the same step we need to repeat on Windows 11 also. Let's see. It has taken the correct IP 10.11.153, whatever available in the DHCP scope. Okay, let's move on to the next step. So coming back to WIN10 CL system, execute the PowerShell script number 20 to join the WIN10 CL system to SSMCB local. Okay, so I will come back to my script folder. and I will copy the number 20 script. I will explain the script in detail. Come back to your Windows 10 sales system, close this, paste this, and now we will execute this particular script number 20. Okay, so as you can see over here, joining this system as a WIN10 CL system to sysmcb.local domain. Okay, so what is the main command over here? Add computer credential. We will be giving the SSM admin credential manually over here. You can specify it over here, but it is not recommended because anybody can open the script and see the domain admin account credential. So let it ask manually over here. So I have only specified the account name, not the password. Although you can define the password, but it's not recommended as a security standard. And then the domain name will be our sysmcb.local, and new name, our machine's new name will be WIN10 CL. So this script will do two things. First, it will change our host name also to WIN10 CL, and it will join to our domain also. As of now, you can see over here what is the host name of my machine. It's a random host name, whatever it is. Okay, so it will change the host name also, and it will join our system to our domain also. So let's execute this particular script now to join the Windows 10 CL system to our domain. Now you can see it is asking us for the SSM admin password. So I am putting up the password. Now you can see it has joined us, and it is asking us to confirm that whether our system will get restarted or not. Okay, so I will say yes to all. So by the time it is restarting, let's go back to our PPT for the further step. So you need to manually enter the SSM account credentials that we have already done, right? Security best practice standards for joining the sysmcb.local domain. Okay. Next step is, once restarted, log on to Windows 10 CL system through SSM admin domain account. Currently it is showing local user, which we don't want. I will say other user, and you can see over here our domain name is now populated in the bottom. So I will put the SSM admin account and password. Now it is logging in with the SSM admin account. It might take a minute or so because this is the first time it is logging with the domain account credentials. Now we have logged in with our SSM admin account on Windows 10 CL system. How can I confirm that? I will go to command prompt, and you can see over here it is showing SSM admin as my command prompt user. Okay, so we have logged in using the SSM admin account, and we have logged into our domain. Okay, we will confirm the connectivity in a while, but let's move on to the next step. Next step is, once logged in through Windows 10 CL system, open system properties through right clicking your start menu, then system, and then advanced system settings, and then computer name. So we'll do that. This is just for the confirmation. We'll go to system, then advanced system settings, computer name. Okay, and now you can see over here it is showing the correct FQDN. This is what the next step will also ask us. The next step is note down the FQDN of the WIN10 CL system, which should be as follows: WIN10 cl.scsmcv.local. So this is a fully qualified domain name. Okay, so this is the first confirmation that our system has successfully joined to our domain controller. Okay, so I will cancel this. Let's go to the next step. So the next step is step number 30. From Windows 11 CL VM, execute the PowerShell script number 21 to join the Windows 11 CL system also to our scsmcv.local domain. Okay, so I will go back to my main machine. I will copy this script and I will paste it on Windows 11 CL system. Close this, clear this, and paste it over here. It's the same script, but only difference is this Windows 11 CL system will get joined with our domain controller. Okay, so I will execute this script. It will ask us for our SSM admin credentials, which I am putting now. And now you can see it is asking us for the restart. So I will say yes to all. So now it is restarting. Once restarted, we will log on with our SSM admin account, not with the local user. By the time it is restarting, let's move on to our PPT. So in the note, I have already specified the same thing. You need to manually enter the SSM admin account credentials, security best practice standards for joining the scsmcv.local domain, which we have already done. Okay. Now the next step is we need to log on with our SSM admin account, that is our domain admin account on Windows 11 CL system. So I will choose the other user and I will put the SSM admin over here. And you can see now it is getting logged on with the SSM admin account. Okay, by the time it is logged in, let's move on to our next step. So next step is we need to again repeat the steps for confirming our FQDN on Windows 11 system also. Okay, so we will go back to Windows 11 system, and then you can see over here it is showing the SSM admin as my currently logged in user, that is my domain user. So I will go to the system, we'll go to the advanced system setting, and you can see over here the computer name, it is showing the correct FQDN, Windows 11 CL scsmcv.local. Okay, so our system has joined domain successfully using our PowerShell script. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Our next step will be a final one. From Windows 10 CL and Windows 11 CL, both the systems, open command prompt with admin access and run following command, that is gp update/force. Now what it will confirm, if both group policies, user and computer, getting completed successfully using that gp update/force command as shown in the sideline figure, it confirms that our Active Directory domain controller connectivity with clients, means with our client systems, is working fine. Okay, so let's see. So first I will go to Windows 11 only. I will open the CMD and I will say gp/x. So as you can see, the group policy update has been completed successfully for both computer and user policy. I will repeat this step on Windows 10 CL also. Now our group policy has been completed successfully on Windows 10 CL system also, both computer and user policies. Okay, so this completes our particular video for the AD infra setup, basic AD infra setup using PowerShell. If you remember, in the previous video we have done all these steps through manual way, GUI way. In this particular video we have done all the same steps with the help of PowerShell scripts. Okay, so thanks all for your time. This is Swaroop IT Solutions. If you like this particular video, make sure to share it with your friends and colleagues and do subscribe to this particular channel. Thanks all again. Until the next video, goodbye. Have a good day.